Alright, so a couple days ago, maybe a week, I don't know, let me shut this off. It is still cold here. But a few days ago, I got a request for an update video on this Massy Ferguson 255. You can't see because somebody put paint over it, but that's what it is. Well, the problem with the 255 was it has no power steering. You can turn that thing right, left, sideways, it doesn't matter. It won't go. So, anyways, we kind of figured out that it was this pump. This is the power steering pump. That's all it does is power steering. And as you can see, there's a gaping hole, and this is supposed to actually be in there. It's broke off, snapped off. So something obviously got in there and did a mess out of it. So the person that owns it, I said, hey, you know, that's what the problem is. Get me the pump, and I'll put it in for you. They're like, drag your feet a little bit, drag your feet a little bit. And finally, they stopped dragging their feet, and lo and behold, $259 later, we got us a brand new pump. This is a reservoir, by the way. So all I have to do is actually take this nipple and that nipple off of there, that fitting, stick them on there, and we should be good to go to put it back together. Now, I use that copper spray gasket. The reason I use that is because what it does is I don't have a new gasket. They didn't give me one. So in order to make the gasket work, you have to, use some kind of either blue goop silicone or use the copper. Well, I like the copper because it can take the heat of the engine better than the blue goop, and it looks nicer when it's all back together because you don't have all of that blue goop sticking out the sides. This stuff is just there. So right now I'm going to go ahead and take these off. These guys right here, they're kind of, this one's finger tight. This is the bottom one. I should probably replace the O-ring if it's any good. But anyways, I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to put it all together, and then we will try it out, because I got to loosen this one up. I don't know, I'm going to clean that up with some starting fluid because it's cheap, and we'll see what happens. Alrighty. Okay, so I've got this thing not completely put together, but I've got it pretty much set up here that it'll go together really nice. What I'm spraying on here is just starting fluid. And I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, why don't you just get brake cleaner and stuff? Well, brake cleaner's fine, except this is 99 cents a can. The brake cleaner is $2.45 a can. So that's why I don't use brake cleaner. Yeah. So that's pretty much the only reason I don't use brake cleaner. I'm looking for a wrench here, which I know I have. 7/8 inch wrench, I believe. There it is, 7/8. And what I'll do is I'm actually just going to snug these up like so. That's that one. And I think I got this one here pretty much where it needs to be. Now, the silly thing is, this reservoir is not exactly where you'd think it should be. But anyway, I'm just going to tighten this up here. I don't have the, what do you call them, bracket on, the alternator bracket on there just yet. And I don't have this thing here where it should be just yet either. But there, that's where I'm going to put it. See, that's just a fill hole. What do I do with that damn thing now? Wesley, oh, there it is right in front of me. If it was snake, it would have bit me. Yeah, so you kind of want to have this in a position where you can actually get to it, because that, my friend, is where you're going to be putting in your hydraulic oil. And yes, that's what this thing takes, hydraulic oil. So, it's kind of, this is a metric nut on the other side, so I use a, what do you call it, an adjustable wrench, which, kind of makes up for the pain in the ass that it is. The next thing I've got to do here is to actually tighten, which isn't, Jesus, my tripod keeps getting in the way, so you're going to be bounced around a little bit. This is an 11, Jesus, Pete, I got butterfingers today. Haven't eaten all day. I guess I could do it. So what I'm doing here, there's a washer backed O-ring which actually makes the seal. So you can actually maneuver those elbows, these nipples, pipe fittings, whatever you want to call them, into the right position, and then you go ahead and tighten this washer up here, and that snugs everything you got up. Now, what I'm gonna do, I got everything here? Yep. Alright. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill that with hydraulic oil before I get into anything else here, like the bracket to the I don't want to get into the bracket of the alternator just yet, for the simple reason it's easier to fill this thing with the alternator out of the way, I think. But maybe not. Anyway, we'll see. I'll get it all together and then we'll fire it up and see what happens. Alrighty, got the alternator on and everything. I don't like the way these wires are hanging here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna test it first. I've only got the fill hole just kind of snug. For the simple reason that I'm sure I'm going to have to add oil to it, and I've got a hell of a mess floating around here with all the tools and stuff. But enough is enough. Let's say we do the proverbial shit or get off the pot deal here. A couple things we got to do, but ready? Power steering, obviously. I want that thing to be full. So I don't have enough power steering fluid in this reservoir, so what I'm going to do is top that off. Then I'm going to get some wire ties and actually tie these wires up to that pipe, and we'll go from there. And then I'll show you the next thing on the list of stuff to do to that. Hear that noise? That means there's water in these tires, calcium. So anyway, the tractor's done for the most part. Pump works, hydraulics work. I'm going to see if I got a filter for this thing. I might even change the oil for them. But there is one thing that I did see, and I absolutely could not believe what I was looking at. And it doesn't take long for those calcium-filled tires to fill up. There's not much room. Is this right here? There's a bolt here. Can you believe that? A engine mount bolt. Well, with that engine mount bolt tore off like that, or loose like that, this thing could just break with a good shot or hay onto it. That engine could just break right off of there. Now, it's a good thing I got the thing here and looked at it, because holy shit, that would have just been a real disappointment for the owner to get the thing back and go get up against a bale of hay or something, and next thing, the front end of the tractor splits right to hell off from the engine, destroying the block. Okay, so that kind of I'm glad I saw that thing. And then this one here, a little loose too. There's like 4 of them, 2 on each side. Yeah, that's tight. I might have 3509 on that filter now. 37 on the, what do you call them there? But I think my tire's about full now. Well, still going. So, anyway, what do I got here? A loose one here, too. The whole front end of this tractor is ready to break the hell off. Unreal. Especially with a loader on it. Oh my God, this one too. Jeepers creepers. I think somebody was trying to sabotage my friend here. It's nuts. That's nuts. Well, here, I'll set this up and maybe get an eye on that. Holy shit. Now, he just bought this tractor, and it was bought from a friend of his, which, you know, I don't know. I know the guy a little bit, but I don't know him to be a prick. But to sell a tractor that's loose like this is insanity. I mean, no wonder it didn't break off already. As you can probably tell, there's already been, they've used a lot of hay. I'm just wondering if that's why that thing broke that shaft off. You know, that's why that thing broke that shaft off of there. That is nuts. It was so loose. Okay. I'm going to have to tell him about this. He's going to be freaking out because it wouldn't have lasted very long. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, these tractors, I don't like the Massy Fergusons personally for the way that they're put together. They're difficult, over-engineered, not for simplicity either. Let's see, I got enough tire, but I just don't want it to come in half when he's using it, or his daughter's the one who's going to use it. That was neat. Anyway, I have to say that was pretty close. Now there's, wow, that's why that shaft was broke off, because this thing mounts in the front part of that engine. The engine's here, and then it's got the front part over here. So as loose as that thing was, had a lot of play in there, and it snapped the shaft off the old pump. So, wow. And these Massy Fergusons are only held together. The whole front end is only held together by those bolts, that one there and that one right there, to the engine block and the oil pan. Kind of silly, but this is what it is. But anyways, I think that'll probably hold now. I got enough pressure on it. I'm going to take a look at this thing here in a little bit and see if she's pissing water, because you know, those valve cores, they don't last forever with calcium chloride in them. So, anyways, that's it for the 255. We'll start her up and take her for a drive. And so I made the mistake of deciding to grease this thing. Had to replace that grease zerk. The rest of them took grease that I could get. These down there, I don't know, whoever owned this thing, they didn't take too good a care of it. This one here, I was rather surprised that it even took grease, because it looked like this hadn't been greased since Carter was in office. So it's been a long time. But anyways, other than that, power steering is working. I greased the front axle there. It does need new tie rod ends. As you can see, it's a little bit loose there. I'm not going to mess with it because I was only employed to put a power steering pump on it. So now that that job's complete, I do have one more complaint, and that's the shutoff, which I think I can probably get with a zip tie and make that work. So I'm going to try that. But other than that, thank you for watching. The Massy Ferguson will be leaving my care shortly. Have a great day.